In this episode of Joe Nye, the Math Guy, we will use the 4 basic elements of math: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, to dissect this recent statement made by White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki.
Would President Biden ever undo his executive order that stopped the construction of the Keystone XL pipeline?
Are you suggesting that would solve the gas prices issue?
Well, do you think that that would maybe affect prices faster than getting the whole country off of fossil fuels?
I actually don't think it would.
Now, from this statement, Psaki clearly looks uncomfortable. Hey, camera girl, what do you think?
Uncomfortable.
Awkward?
Awkward.
This can be perceived in one of 2 ways. Either she's lying or she simply doesn't understand basic math. Just between you and me, I think it's both. But for argument's sake, let's go with the latter. Psaki has 2 degrees from the prestigious College of William and Mary in Virginia, and I dropped out in the 11th grade back in 1980. Well, I really got expelled, but that's a different story. But an 11th grade education in 1980 is equivalent to a double major at Harvard today, so let's just say I am more than qualified to solve this simple 4th grade math equation. First of all, to figure out if what she's saying is true or false, we need to understand 2 basic things. How much oil do we import from Russia daily? And secondly, how much oil will we get from the Keystone pipeline? So from these 2 sources here, we can see that we get about 830,000 barrels of oil a day from the Keystone pipeline. Now, to figure out how many that equals in a year, we simply multiply 830,000 by 365 and a quarter days, equals a whopping 303,157,500 barrels a year from Keystone. You divide that by 12 months, that equals 25,263,125 a month. On the other end of the spectrum, from these 3 sources, it says we receive anywhere from 621,000 to 709,000 barrels a day of oil from Russia. Let's just be generous and go with the highest number, 709,000 barrels a day. So what you do is you multiply the 709,000 times 365 and a quarter days. That equals 258,962,250 barrels a day of oil from Russia. You divide that by 12 months, and that's 21,580,187 barrels a month. Now stay with me. We've already covered multiplication and division. Let's cover some subtraction next, shall we? First, we subtract 709,000 received from Russia daily by the 830,000 we would receive from the Keystone pipeline daily, and we would receive an additional 121,000 barrels a day from Keystone over Russia. If you multiply that again by the 365 and a quarter days, that's an additional 44,195,250 barrels of oil a day. Divide that by 12 months, that's an extra 3,682,937 barrels of oil monthly from just this one source. We're getting close to the end, so stay with me. That just leaves addition yet to be covered in today's video. Back in the day, we didn't have computers or calculators to help us figure out equations such as these. We just had a good old pencil and paper. We had to check our math to make sure it was right. The way you do that is add the number of barrels received daily from Keystone, which is 121,000. You add that by the 709,000 barrels received from Russia daily, and voila, you have 830,000 barrels of oil. Boom! Checkmate! So what we can ascertain from this is clearly Jen Psaki has no idea what she's talking about. And the Keystone pipeline alone would make a huge difference in lowering gas prices and would lessen our dependence on foreign oil. That's just Keystone. What about the 1.5 million barrels of oil a day we would receive from Anwar, Alaska? Or the hundreds of other oil leases President Biden has shut down or overregulated to make it impossible for domestic oil to drill? We would rather ask our sworn enemies like Iran for oil than get our own. Makes no sense. Why are U.S. energy companies being punished, yet foreign enemy countries being rewarded over oil?